Today's the first day that I went to the grocery store. And I really do like having to pick up my groceries at the Fry's pickup because it's just so much easier than going in. The store wasn't that busy, but it was like I couldn't think of what I wanted. I went in to get something to eat for dinner, and it's almost like there's so much selection, it's just becomes overwhelming. Lots of chatter and people, and just my brain has a hard time with that right now. I am weaning off of my medication that I was given because it makes me feel crazy and weird and depressed, and I hate it. So anyways, I ended up getting some sushi, which I haven't had in a while, like a good month, I want to say. It's pretty good. I know it's kind of weird to get it at Fry's, but that's where I got it at, and I think they do a really good job there. Actually, it's not really terribly expensive. It's actually a really good deal. I kind of wanted the Shaggy Dog, which is more like crab and or imitation crab, I should say, with like the really good sriracha sauce on there, but I ended up getting like straight up tuna and salmon, so that was good. I also like Fry's because there's this section, at least in the one on Pantano Speedway, where they put all their flowers or plants on sale, and so sometimes I've gotten a couple of really good deals on plants that were dying or looking poorly. Right now they have a bunch of bouquets. I want to say probably 12 roses at least. It's a really nice little selection of flowers, and they're clearanced out for $2.25, and even though they're open, they don't look terrible. You know, I mean, you could still have them for maybe a week or so, but I didn't get that. But I do like to look in that section because I've purchased a couple of different orchids and different things there just because they were super cheap. Let's see what else. I think going to the store is exhausting because there's so much to see. I was hoping to get some Rainier cherries. That's kind of an in-season thing right now, so I was hoping to get some of those instead of just regular red cherries, which I don't know the situation with Rainier cherries. I just know that they are always a lot more in cost and not very long of a season, so they didn't even have any of that. They did have regular cherries, but that was what I was looking for. But I have been enjoying in the morning cottage cheese, of all things. I'm not really a huge cottage cheese fan, so like I can take it or leave it, but for some reason it just sounded really good, so I'll have like a little bowl of cottage cheese, maybe a half cup of it, and then I will do a nectarine. I like nectarines to be hard still. I don't like them to be soft and mushy. I'm not a cobbler person either, so like peach cobbler, apple pie, ugh. I have a hard time with that texture, so the nectarine I got was almost the size of a softball, so I'm really excited about that. And then I got some like antioxidant, I think that's what you call it, juice. That's strictly juice, and it's really good because it has very little sugar in it. So my dialysis right now is going really well. My feet are almost back to normal, which is great. The sushi's a bit salty because I use soy sauce, so we'll see what happens on the scale tomorrow, but overall I'm feeling much better for two reasons. One is to get the swelling down, the dialysis under control, and then the other reason is getting off of this freaking meds that I just can't deal with it. I did decide, though, that I was going to go back to therapy because I just have so many triggers with this whole traumatic situation. I really felt like I was alone, even though I wasn't. Like, there wasn't a moment when I was really alone about anything, so it's not really that I was. Like, my adult mind knows that, but it was kind of like exhausting to try to get the medical field to understand like something is wrong and I need help. So that weighs very heavily in my mind. So I think, I keep having these episodes of abandonment issues and triggers, and then just the depression, which is not my character. So I think I'm excited to go back to therapy and just kind of like talk out some stuff and then come back feeling relieved and rejuvenated with a touch of reality. Because I know, like I said, that I know that I'm not alone. It's just a weird thing that happened. So there's, I think, a lot of emotions that kind of like take over in these situations. I do know that part of it is that I'm just mad that the whole thing happened. So I don't see that doctor until next week. And tomorrow my medical supplies come. So that'll be good. Because of the way I'm having to do dialysis, I had to switch and call them and switch up my order, thankfully in time, so that they'll be able to bring me all the things that I need to change up what changed. And then in about a week and a half, I'll go right back to what I think was normal for my dialysis before all of this happened. So I have been working on my DiamondArt quite a bit, but slowly, because I can't sit for long periods of time. I feel like I just swell, like my legs, my feet swell, all of that. But within the last couple of days, that hasn't been the case, so I've been working on that. I've been doing some crochet. Crochet is always a good friend of mine. Right now I found this really pretty yellow that was in my box of many yarns. Thankfully my mother keeps me very much in yarn. And then so I'm working on this hat. It's kind of like a puff stitch situation. I'm a really terrible crocheter because I don't like to follow the rules, and in crochet I feel like it's an actual like mathematical art. So you have to continuously, like, you're doing the same thing repetitively, which is what I enjoy, and like seeing something evolve. But at the same time, if you've done like a row of, I don't know, 30, every single time you have to have 30. And that's where it's so crazy in my head that I just get off. And then sometimes I'll like make an extra loop or stitch, and then pretty soon I'm looking at it and I'm like, how is this off? And then you have to unravel the sections that you messed up. So it's quite the patient little task, but I'm working on that little hat right now. I actually have a couple of projects laying around because I like to watch your Facebook reels, especially because at night I don't sleep well. And so I'll come out here in the living room. Sometimes I'll do some diamond art. Sometimes I'll do the dishes, just quiet things while Donnie's trying to sleep. And then I'll find a stitch like on the Facebook reels, and I'll be like, oh, I need to learn how to do that. And of course, those reels are so short that they typically don't show you the whole process. So then I try to figure out the process, which encourages my mind to be creative, but also creates like 4 or 5 different projects. Like I'm just kind of learning the stitches. So what, to me, like a hat is usually the easiest thing right now, or a scarf. So if I find a stitch or a project that I like, that I just kind of go for it for a little bit, and then I have to switch to something else. And that could be the meds too, just not staying very focused on one thing, you know, because I'm usually not like that either. So I don't know. It is interesting and really comforting to have people contact me that agree with me about the meds, because they're like, it's sharing with me their experience on being on different medications. And you know, and I try to explain, like, I don't like pharma. Like, I think we're over prescriptioned, but there is a time and place for it, you know. I mean, if it wasn't for science, I would be gone, because science developed dialysis. So I'm here because of science. But I also think that, and interesting enough, when I was in the emergency trauma rooms, they were saying that we're going to give you nausea medication, but that always carries consequences. Anything you put in your system has a consequence. And I think that more and more they need to say things like that to patients, because that is the truth. You know, like, you try to help the headache, but that headache causes nausea, causes something else, and that, you know, it's just like a trickle of insanity, really, trying to get a hold of how to help a patient and get them to a place where they can start the healing process. So I do believe that medication is good, but I really more so believe that if you get a little bump and a little help from that medication, that's fantastic, but don't lean on it, because your body wants to keep you alive, and your body wants you to be healthy, and it will do whatever it takes. So, you know, me not being hungry is probably such a blessing, because I'm not having to do extra dialysis trying to get what I've eaten out, you know. So it's just a weird circle. But it is nice to have people call me and be like, hey, this was my experience on medication. And so, you know, like, instead of like demonizing me for wanting to get off of the medication, which has happened before, because if you don't recall, we all were pressured into taking certain vaccines, and I was very big on telling everybody not to do it. And I think we can look back now and see how that was good information. So anyways, I'm gonna let you go. I'm really tired. I think I'm gonna nap a little bit before Donnie gets home, and hopefully be able to sleep tonight. So talk to you guys later. Bye bye.